that colonialism and slave trade entailed. But secondly, they says, if you look at colonialism as an equal, you would have to see that slave trade and colonialism are cumulative parts of the same process. In other words, slave trade led to colonialism, and colonialism has produced the effects that we have today. So it's in that molecular sense, that macro sense, that I will be addressing the consequences of colonialism today. Now, somebody will look at a topic like this and say, why in 2025 would any person be discussing such dead subjects? Slave trade took place a long time ago, it's long dead. So why today are we resurrecting such a discussion? Or somebody will even say, what's the problem with colonialism? Are we not tired of this blame game where we all say we are not developed the way we should be developed because of colonialism? They would even go further to say, what's the point? Africa was not the only part of the world that was colonized. The United States was colonized, Britain was colonized, Germany was colonized, India was colonized, Canada was colonized, Egypt was colonized. All of these countries have made it, they have developed. So why do we continue to dwell on colonialism? Is it another case of African exceptionalism? Are we simply saying there's something unique or peculiar about African slave trade and colonialism? In a globalized world where we all have become so interdependent, can we now begin to say, let's isolate ourselves and treat our own trajectory differently and separately? Yes, there is exceptional Africanism in this whole discussion. For the two reasons. One is that no other form of slavery came close to the slavery of Africa in two important respects. First is the total volume. It is estimated that over 12.5 million Africans were sold into slavery and exported as commodities. Yes, we've had all kinds of slavery. In Europe, there was slavery, especially of women who were taken to the Barbarian, to the Ottoman Empire, and to other parts of the Mediterranean. And these ones were sold into slavery. In the United States of America, there was European slavery, and it involved everyone. But those involved only a few hundreds of thousands and 1 million and two. But for Africa, it was 12.5 million, and that's a conservative estimate. Secondly, no other form of slave trade or colonialism was as racialized as the one that involved Africa. So that racialization has given birth to the global hierarchy of races today that defines the global order. And if you're asking the question, why is Africa at the margins and the receiving ends of the world, you have found your answer. And that's why we need to go back to slavery and slave trade and colonialism. Lest we forget, colonialism was a carefully designed enterprise. If you like, it was a mode of production. It was one that had its own legitimizing ideology. And this ideology was one that was carefully crafted and dwelt on different dimensions of philosophy, of culture, of economic domination, of exploitation. And it was even served by academic disciplines. So that, for instance, the discipline of anthropology evolved as a colonial discipline and looked for ways for facilitating effective colonization, or even the theory of modernization rationalized the basis for that. But remember that there was a myth of the civilizing mission that colonialism entailed. In other words, these barbarians, these people who were not part of human history, these people who didn't even have lives, who lived in the dark continent, had to be degraded. And so the Europeans came here to civilize Africa. Now, these myths you have heard. Now, they went ahead and introduced Africa to a global order where Africa had not been before. And therefore, they made Africa the drawers of wood, the hewers of wood, and the drawers of water. And this is the argument that sustained colonialism for all of that time. The technology, the administration, and the consequences. Look to South Africa. What you call apartheid was simply a summary of what colonialism and colonization entailed. Why is it, you might ask, that Africa remains at the receiving end of what it doesn't produce? Why have we become consumers of everything that is developed in the global north? Why have we become copycats, you might ask? And I'm going to argue that all of this is not because we are lazy people, as the narrative has it. There's a narrative that talks about Africa being a basket case, Afro-pessimism. We are not people who were created the way we are today. We are people who have been re-engineered. We are people who have been redesigned and reformatted to be who we are today. And that reformatting took place under colonialism. Now, if you read the classics on African underdevelopment, and by classics, I'm referring to Walter Rodney's How Europe Underdeveloped Africa, or you read Frantz Fanon's The Wretched of the Earth, you will find the explanations for why Africa has come to be where it is. But I'm going to bore you with the details of those very fantastic insights. I will simply rely on the writings of Abeokuta, who led the great liberation movement in the Guinea and has given us a sense of how we came to be where we are. According to Abeokuta, we have had in Africa a trajectory of our national development, natural development. It was a development driven by our initiative and our independence and self-determined purpose in life. We led our paths, and we were great people. All you need to be reminded of is the Moene Matapa civilization in today's Zimbabwe that produced those. So in other words, if we don't address the legacies, the fatal legacies of colonialism and slave trade, we would not make progress. Okay, let's dwell a little bit more on the conceptual coordinates, and I will put the state at the center. So here we are. What is slave trade? What is slavery? You all know the history. You all know that we had that experience, that Africa conquered territories, involved the enslavement of millions, I said 12.5 million conservatively, were taken out of Africa as commodities. The way today we sell cocoa and gold and oil. These were the commodities that were traded and sent to plantations in the New World. So all over we had the African dispersal, but especially in the Caribbean and in the United States of America. And they were sold as slaves. Now, and the Middle East. But that is matter for another day. And then, of course, we had internal slavery. Slavery was a mode of production, and so many of our rich people, the wealthy class at the time, had a lot of slaves. But the slave trade that came from outside was different in character and in consequence, because it turned African societies inside out and upside down. That because they happened, Africa was no longer the same again. And that the Africa that we talk about today is very different from the Africa that existed before then. Now, how does that work out? He says you need to understand those transformations in terms of the social structure that colonialism bequeathed to Africa. In his 1980 inaugural lecture entitled Colonialism and Social Structure, Eke identified three ideal types of social formation, social structure that came as a result of colonialism. A social structure that involves institutions that were imported wholesale from metropolitan Europe. And the best example to give is the state itself, which is a whole new conundrum for the Africans. Another good example, the universities as we know them today. The schools, the hospitals, these are imported social structure elements. Second, he talks about the transformed. When the black chief of army started, he didn't find answers to this question, and then he said, I realize now that there is no way a black person can become the president of America, Obama did it. There's no way a black person can hold this important position. Our only hope is to return to Africa. So he started the Back to Africa movement that gave birth to Pan-Africanism. Now, where are we with that? Today, we have to reenact the Back to Africa movement. We must bring together the black diaspora from the Caribbean. We must go to the Latin America, we must go to all those areas, including Australia, to bring all these black people to form a new power bloc. A power bloc that will make it possible for somebody from Jamaica to come to Nigeria and become the chief of the hospital in England. That will make it possible for somebody from Sierra Leone to go to Trinidad and Tobago and become part of that black government of the Central Bank. We must re-emerge, and the best way to re-emerge is to have a unity, a strong force, a new bloc, a power bloc that is economic, that is social, that is cultural, and that is political, most of all, that the world can no longer deal with. Don't be deceived. Globalization is something that we need to have lenses to know what to take from and to know what to reject. To think that globalization exists only purely for the good of us is to remain fixated to colonial mentality. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. May I recognize the following distinguished personalities. We have here with us the Deputy Governor of Ogun State, Engineer Noimon Salako Oedele. We also have with us the Commissioner for Education, Professor Aritabu. We have our candidates here present. We have the Alati and the Paramount of Royal Highness the Olowo of Owu Kingdom, His Royal Majesty Oba Professor Saka Martin. We have now named the Oluba of Ibadan, His Royal Majesty Oba Jacob Omolade Lafa II, also Oba Abdulgafar Olasunkami Tijani, the Alawu of Owu in Owu Kingdom. His Excellency the former High Commissioner to the United Kingdom is here with us, Alhaji Sharafa Ishola. Sitting by his side is Otumba Fasha, the chairman of Bells University of Science and Technology, that's BOT, is here with us, Ikola Jamon. Also the Vice Chancellor of Bells University of Science and Technology, Professor Gio Oyedino, and his wife. As time goes on, we shall recognize him. Thank you very much. Not to go into rehashing what he has said, I will just leave what he has said there, but I will try and delve a little bit or maybe redefine what he didn't proclaim. There is what we call the recolonization. Decolonization was a concept that is defined that after independence of African states or states like Africa, there will be a machinery to recolonize Africa. those machinery, they are still here today. They are still very viral. And we call them the Bretton Woods institutions, the World Bank and the IMF. If you have a developmental agenda, if it runs contrary to those two institutions, ideology or principles, you're almost like a stunted growth. That is one of the factors that we're facing. But I don't move away from lamenting because the speaker said so. We should stop wallowing in the past. Sometime in the 70s, while some other part of Africa were still colonized, a movement was put in place, and that was the decolonization of Africa. And that decolonization was championed by someone in whose honor we are gathered here today, Ababa, former President Olusegun Obasanjo, PhD, GCFR. Baba led Africa on that ground that we should decolonize. I'm wearing a suit and tie. Apparently, I'm not decolonized by my dress. My name is Anthony. Anthony is not an African name. I am not decolonized by that name. But I have been able to redefine my name. To decolonize it, I said, Anthony, which is perfect. So we can as well do that. But beyond that, the issue of states and nations, Africa do not have states, but we have nations. And the nations are so many, hundreds of thousands of them. If Europe is able to do nation states, the Belgians, they have a country Belgium. French, they have France. English, they have England. Why can't we have, as part of our decolonization process, which is what the speaker said, Africanize and indigenize all concepts that we see outside? It's a process. We will get there, very certainly. Thank you very much.
Professor Ngozi Arisa from Bells University of Technology.
Vision of the future, reflections of slavery and colonization, and Nigeria's journey towards a promising future. I want to also lecture on very minutes. I'll just go through some of the lessons in the lecture. Starting with very basic. Slavery and its consequences. As the speaker said earlier, we are all products of slavery, and consequences are seen all over us. But when you discover that you have a problem, there are two things you can do. You can decide to continue that problem, or decide to make a change. And when I suggest that we make a change, you cannot continue to stay, you cannot continue to dwell in the past. However, it is important for us, once in a while, to go back to what happened to us in the past. The Bible says that the Israelites should tell their children what they went through in the land of Israel. And repeatedly mention, teach your children what happened to you. The fact that we don't teach history in our schools compulsorily is a very bad thing. It is necessary that we teach history so that our children know where we are coming from and decide to compare their things. That's one. If our children know that we were once slaves, they will not decide to be slaves by choice. People are becoming slaves by choice now, deciding to leave your country because of some problems that you face, instead of focusing and trying to challenge the issue and change the narrative and change the situation and make it better. Then what should we do again? The other thing that we have to do is to look at how we can become one. If we love each other as one people, you take me as a person, as one of you, I'm sure you will not be able to do anything that is wrong with me. So we
society. We will support initiatives and organizations that are working towards addressing slavery. We could also advocate economic policies and implementations that promote good, equality, and justice. To a certain extent, I urge you to continue this conversation outside this auditorium. To the adults in the auditorium, I charge you to take responsibility. Let's support our youth in making efforts to create a positive change. Let's find solutions to our problem on slavery and colonialism. Let's look ahead like other countries who have suffered the same fate. And let's work together in attaining a sustainable and just society. Thank you.
In Africa in particular, who rather have their children speak in English, in French, in Spanish, rather than their native language. Horrible thing. One of the things we need to begin to do. Teach ourselves, teach our children to speak our language and be proud of our language, our heritage. The food we eat, for example, rather than eating burgers, we have amala, we have inion, we have egusi, all those very beautiful, nutritious food items. How about our medicines? Rather than having to use all these chemicalized medicines, we have what nature has endowed upon us, and God has given to us free of charge. We have Uru Italy, we have cola nuts, we have all sorts of moringa and all sorts. To the extent that even those.
My response to the very, very brilliant lecture of Professor Sage is in regards to the point he made about the slave mentoring to the slave master because maybe sick and they don't want the slave to die. But today, the citizen doesn't matter. And for me, that is the starting point towards the journey in Africa. The citizens must matter. And how can they matter? Good governance. People are going abroad, they are gradually because there's no good governance. So we must try from the local government, the state, the national level to install good governance and let our people matter. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. Very speaking. I won't take more of it. I want to again congratulate Baba and say happy birthday, and also congratulate the speaker for opening our minds to exactly what we were, what we are, and what we should be. And I think it's a thing of the mind, the mindset. I think the institutions, particularly universities, should liberate the minds of our students.
Yes.
Open them internally to be very free, to be free thinkers, to be able to look forward rather than being colonized internally as we are now. One of the first respondents made a very good point. The fact that the way we dress tells you that well, that's the best way to go. Whether it isn't, but that's the way we've been structured to think. Like I'm saying, our mindset should be changed, should be decolonized. Once you decolonize the man is free. Once you decolonize the man, his mind is totally open. We want to do better and to move into the future. We should teach our languages in school. I want to reiterate again that history, and like Bells is doing now, we are studying back our history, looking at some icons in our societies to know exactly what they've done, what they are doing, and what we should also do. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Bells.
I'm already down.
Former presidents gathered together and approached about that we need to learn from our experiences and bequeath it to the new generation. Those were part of the people that formed the board of trustees of Olusegun Obasanjo Leadership Institute. Thank you very much. What did they do? We are different from the normal leadership institute. Why? Because this program or this center specifically is tailored at 50% academics and 50% experience. So we are looking at experiential provisions or activities of leaders who have been tested. We have a lot of documentary video of past leaders, successful businessmen at different levels all over the world, most especially in Africa. How did they make it? A president, a young man became the leader of the country at the age of 40, came back and became president and led the country debt-free. How did they do it? What happens in Nigeria happened in South Africa, happened in Senegal, happened in Mauritius. So this leadership institute is concentrating on releasing the secret of success. Global success, business success, leadership success, entrepreneurial success in family. So we have a wealth of team of teachers, facilitators that are coming together. We have the center set up in such a way that the teaching and the learning can be staggered. So we have government coming around sending their principal officers, their permanent secretary, we have Royal Institute, we have the local government, we have families, we have the youth. Who are the people that we are expecting? Anybody about the age of 18 who has interest in leadership. So we want to hand over what are the things that made these great leaders, great presidents, great established scholars successful in their career. So we are here today to tell you that Olusegun Obasanjo Leadership Institute has come to take off. In a couple of weeks, we have. Who are we? We have approval from the Corporate Affairs Office, we have approval from the NUC, we have approval from the MBT, and we are connected with best universities of technology. We are connected with King's College University in London. We are connected with Chatham House in London. We are connected with Afrexim Bank. We are connected with Desmond Tutu Foundation. Name it. And invite you to be a part of this vision. Part of the things that Baba is going to lead. Who are the good teachers? Baba will be one of them. Thank you.
88 years young, not old. Your Highnesses, Excellencies, when we talk about Baba being a teacher, I said, yes, I am a testimony head by testifying. He found me a rookie, uninvented, and polished, to make a foreign minister. When I went to London, I met from Pope in my first journey, the foreign minister. After discussion, I said, look, Sudan, how long have you known Obasanjo? I said, well, I don't know what you know in politics. He said, but then how can he be a foreign minister?
How do you make progress? I said, well, I was passing by, he saw me just reply with the minister. He said, that's so? I said, yes. He said, in our country, before we get called the minister, the prime minister must be very, very thorough, must test you. And then, especially at the region, be able to carry the interest of the country wherever you are. So if Obasanjo know you very well, you know the minister, two things. He's either crazy or a genius. Thank you very much. Thank you, God, the former Minister of Foreign Affairs. We will move on to take goodwill messages. We're taking on goodwill messages. And goodwill messages, tons and tons, plenty. So we're going to have the goodwill messages in phases. The first phase of the goodwill message is what we are encountering now. I'd like to read some, and some have been sent to us by video, which we have captured on here. I'm reading the goodwill message from His Excellency Goodluck Jonathan. Dear Baba, goodwill message on your birthday. On your birthday, I join your family, friends, and well-wishers across the globe to celebrate your remarkable life and enduring legacy. Your journey has been one of dogged dedication to our nation. I can see Mama Adura is here. Adura, let me use the power that I have to ask you to come to the platform here. Well, I have a seat here which is written reserved. The Holy Spirit told me that you'd be here, and told me to put reserved here. So that is it. Now, continue with the message from President Jonathan. As a former head of state and president, your contributions to our country's social, political, and economic development, may your days be filled with joy, peace, and the satisfaction of knowing that your life has been a blessing, not just to your family, but to the nation. Happy birthday, Baba. Yours sincerely, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, GCFR, GCN. That is the first of tons and tons of goodwill messages I will receive. I will take another one, and I'm going outside Nigeria. This is by the Most Honorable PJ Patterson. Most Honorable PJ Patterson was for several years the Prime Minister of Jamaica. You can see him there on the screen. I read Prime Minister PJ Patterson's goodwill message to Baba. It is with delight as a brother, that's him now, and my privileged duty as a colleague to extend to President Obasanjo my warmest congratulations on the 8th anniversary of his Earth landing. We both have been eagerly looking forward to my being there in person for this memorable celebration. He will be 90 next month. PJ Patterson will be 90 next month. And he has plans to be here. I'm going to get another message from him shortly. But I've been forced to crave the so unique appreciation of the extent by which one's freedom to travel can be inhibited by the exigencies of national circumstances. He is a kind and considerate person which will permit him to forgive my absence with a clear promise that I will endeavor to compensate fully in due course. I still recall with great pleasure my first acquaintance with President Obasanjo when he first visited Jamaica in 1979 to participate in the retreats of selected heads of state which Michael Manley had convened in Runaway Bay to advance the North-South dialogue on the new international economic order. His impressive contribution to the discourse reflected a recognition of historic disparities in political power, economic growth, and social provision, which a legacy of slavery and imperial exploitation had created for the developing world, particularly in Africa and the Caribbean. Little did we contemplate that it was but an early signal of a life dedicated to being at the helm of the global fight for peace, equity, and justice of Mother Earth. That soon became evident as an anchor in the eminent persons group, which was instrumental in dismantling the oppressive regime of apartheid in South Africa. Even less did it occur to me that in the course of our unrelenting struggle to redress the inequities of colonial plunder and structural racism will become inseparable working partners and also brothers, he and I, to counter poverty and injustice in any form or kind.
Slave trade, colonization, emancipation, and reparation in a nutshell. The book, edited by Obasanjo, Let's Forget Slavery, Slave Trade, Transition, Emancipation, Reparation, published by OPL, 2025, 333 pages. This book presents a compelling and multidimensional exploration of slavery, the transatlantic slave trade and colonization, intertwined with historical analysis, with poetic expression to offer a deeply resonant African perspective. Through evocative verses, it captures the lived experiences, memories, and narratives of the victims, moving beyond the conventional historical accounts to foreground African voices in the telling of these traumatic issues. At its core, the book introduces the concept of triadic relationship, connecting Africans globally through shared experiences of forced migration, cultural disruption, and historical injustice. This framework enriches the discourse on historical justice, racial equity, and reparative policies, bridging past atrocities with contemporary struggles for recognition and redress. The poetic verses serve not only as a powerful artistic medium, but as a critical lens through which the European enterprise in Africa is scrutinized, exposing the continent's truncated progress and the long shadow of colonial exploration or exploitation. Beyond historical reflection, the book engages in urgent debates on reparation, forcefully arguing that Africa deserves compensation for the centuries of systemic plunder, displacement, and trauma inflicted by slavery and colonialism. It challenges Western hegemony in knowledge production, advocating the elevation of indigenous African epistemologies and perspectives. By critically examining the complexity of labor systems and notions of freedom within Africa, it dismantles revisionist narratives that seek to absorb the West of culpability in the slave trade. Ultimately, the book is more than a historical account. It is a call to action. It underscores the necessity of reparatory justice and insists on the inclusion of African nations in the global discussion on reparation. However, its impact is inevitably shaped by the editor's dual role as both organizer and contributor, a dynamic that influences the coherent framing and interpretative lens. When you look at chapters 1 to 4, that will examine the origin and impact of transatlantic slave trade. 5 to 8 is basically the exploration of colonial rule, the resistance movement, and the path to emancipation. Chapters 9 to 12 analyze the post-emancipation struggles, neo-colonial structures, and economic practices. While 13 and 14 is called contemporary reparation phase and policy resolution. P.J. Peterson sets the tone for the book by underscoring the necessity for remembering the atrocities of slavery and transatlantic slave trade. He contends that their lasting legacy continues to affect people of African descent, manifesting in poverty, social alienation, and racial discrimination. Advocating for reparative justice, Peterson asserts that the case for reparative justice is irrefutable and compelling. That's according to Peterson on page 3. Chapter 1 of the book, which actually was written by Olusegun Obasanjo. In that chapter, gave a brief account of how the book came into existence. According to him, the gentleman's agreement between himself and his friend, P.J. Peterson, the most honorable considered Mr. Peterson, former Prime Minister of Jamaica. In his introduction, Obasanjo outlines the book's structure and themes, emphasizing the necessity of understanding the historical context of slavery and colonialism to effectively address present-day challenges. He underscores the importance of continuous awareness and education in ensuring that such atrocities never recur. Additionally, he strongly advocates for reparation and justice for the victims and their descendants, affirming, according to Obasanjo on page 5, we must forgive, but we must never forget.
òde oríire ọmọ mi wá lọ sọ orí ilé.
You are welcome to my marriage. I'm your sister. You are welcome.
Kábíyèsí o. Kábíyèsí o. If I don't my son, I want to take you to the white man. I'm going to go. Kábíyèsí o. It's not my Kábíyèsí, help me. I want you to take me to the white man so that I can success.
Don't worry, my people. I've taken all that sons to the white man's man. They are now content by now. I believe the whole story also will be saved.
Kábíyèsí o.
Take them inside.
Leaders, back, very, and not very, Jalo.
We go to Mr. Charles. You are welcome to my family.
Can I go right?
Oh, I have to see you.
It's a wild
Hey, this whole amount of money, I will get a new one. Don't worry. Get that. Are you following?
A presidential candidate from the party have been my people, panelists. I'm going to bring out this for you. They are going to get electricity in this village. The park should be free. And we people put everything in all the villages. Every village we have an airport. If you can only vote for me in the next election, don't worry, I'm going to do it for you. Thank you. Honorable Dempsey, how are you doing? I'm really going to fulfill all the promises available. Oh, it's a job that comes to fill all the choices. You see, all the choices are based on the thoughts that go to me, and I should dance in the life of the Let's write us to you. If you can stick to our promises, your promises, cannot Many please, I say one of you, now stick to our promises. That's the meaning. I am Jesus. God bless me in the name of the elected leader.
That's one I tell you.
Each man, it has come to my notice that I can't be elected leader. Yes, cars. See, I want to let you know that all the promises I made are based on the blood that comes from me. What? Wait, calm down. I have a lot of gifts for you. I have to study for you. If only you can convince the people so that you can vote for me on the next election day. Don't worry. I mean, you should not be the next Wednesday. Don't worry. Thank you very much.
No bribe works.
Yes. Oh, Mr. Kamala, doing? I follow the tradition who are firm to such truths about implications of idol money. Okay, that is right. We'll see you some other times. Anytime I take it, my eagerness.
Go see you to your here.
You see, by now, my son will have been a prophet.
By now, my son will.
Why the king is dying to us?
Villager!
The white men, they are oppressing us. running well. The king must fall. The king must fall. The king must fall.
The one said.
Say your vote, 10,000. Say your vote, 10,000. Say your vote, 10,000.
What are you doing? Why are you saying your vote? This is not what is done. You are selling your vote. This is not what is done. The politicians are doing this because of your ignorance. In fact,
if you don't punish me away from the village, if you are now right now,
for slavery of the body. Now the slavery of the mind. What do we do? If only our people can stand against these three resources that are against the ideals of democracy in our nation, and we must fight for the free and fair election in our country, then our country will be better.
fellow students, I want us to know that the heights are paid by the best countries in the world. I have changed my study plan. But why their colleagues left? They kept studying in their mind. Just like Nigeria before, United States of America was under the British colony. But you as well, America put their past behind them and fought ahead. The main greatness of their country, allocation of which all of them goes up to. Then, Nigeria has no excuse not to be great. Let us bring a finger that honors our past. God is not one by it. Therefore, it's high time we began to celebrate our great leader like Chief Olusegun, Matthew Okikiola, Okuboya Agemu, Matthew Okikiola Obasanjo, who remains an enigma of the whole world. At the end of 1979, it's not rather enough to recover for democracy to try. Again, when it came to office in 1999, Nigeria's debt stood up at around $36 billion, which is reduced drastically to $3.5 billion. Thank God we have remained for like this. We have a lot to learn from him. We do not look to the past, we look to the future with hope and determination. Let us bring today that honors our tomorrow. And because Nigeria will become great again to the expectation of our powerful worldwide world. Forward ever, backward never. Thank you.
Well, I'm so glad that I could make it here today for my papa's 80th birthday. And for that, I always like to praise God for God keeping him at this time and he's feeling good. Olúwa mi, mo dúpẹ́. Olúwa mi, mo dúpẹ́. Olúwa mi, mo dúpẹ́. Mo dúpẹ́, mo dúpẹ́, mo dúpẹ́. Sing along with me. Olúwa mi, mo dúpẹ́. Olúwa mi, mo dúpẹ́. Olúwa mi, mo dúpẹ́. Mo dúpẹ́, mo dúpẹ́, mo dúpẹ́. Èmi nìkan ló yẹ. Kò lè yé ẹnìkan wá. Èyí tí mo fi yé bàbá. Èmi nìkan ló yẹ. Èmi nìkan ló yẹ. Kò lè yé ẹnìkan wá. Èyí tí mo fi yé bàbá. Èmi nìkan ló lọ́sọ̀. Ìwọ lọ́lọ́run mi. Ìwọ ẹlẹ́dàá mi. Ọba wọn ọba. Olúwa Olúwa. Ọba títí láyé. Kò lè yí padà. Èmi ó máa yọ̀ títí ayé. Thank you very much. Thank you. Our great country Nigeria, celebrants of today, Obasanjo, Obasanjo, and his lovely wife, former governor of Osun State, former governor of Ogun State, and former governor of Jigawa, here present, serving and former National Assembly members here present, Speaker of Osun State of Assembly, Right Honorable Adeokuta, other political functionaries here present, our royal fathers, captains of industry, important personalities here present, notably Yusuf Kat Baba Wachi President Adeokuta, religious leaders here present, notably Reverend Esther Ajayi, families, friends, and relatives, sons and daughters of the Gala here present, security operative, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. That today is the day that God has made, and it is always an honor and privilege to be with our Father and the Father. Hello, stop making noise, please. Friend, making noise. I will start over again. It is a privilege to be with our Father of Africa and former President Olusegun Obasanjo. Baba's impact and reach is monumental and far-reaching. His robust record at the present and at historical. His roles at continental and global stages are landmark legacy. Baba has laid a foundation in this country. I can remember when my predecessor, former governor of Osun State, Prince Obasanjo, we were sitting in my brother's country home, the first executive governor of Osun State, and the phone rang. That's when we have the first communication in Nigeria, whereby everybody, even your driver, your cook, can even have, GSM, Let's give a very big round of applause. And again, Baba, as a defense administrator, now introduced EFCC. And anytime everybody went at EFCC, you went to back. And when you leave office, whatever that you show, you might catch up with you. And of course, Baba told us to have what they call integrity. When you say you will do something, you need to do it. And that's Baba. When everybody was saying that I can't see more, I said, I can't see more. Baba will call me, my son, I declare you as my dancing partner. And Baba encouraged me, and he said, don't listen to anybody. As long as you are dancing and you are performing, I'm okay with it. Everybody tried to stop me from dancing. And he said, because a lot of people feel in Nigeria here too, when you are a governor or a senator or something, you should not express your personal self. And I don't believe that that's not me. But when you call me, say, go ahead and dance. Even I will dance with you, I will let you know where you are my dancing partner. And of course, since you are performing, I'm so proud of you. So, I learned a lot from Baba because anytime I need an advice, I'm growing. Recently, when I have crisis of the local government, Araba told me that listen, as long as you are part of law, and then those told that we are in democracy. Once you know that you are part of the law and rule of law, you have to use that law. And I'm glad to tell you about today, Osun is calm, Osun is normalized and now. Because of that wisdom, whatever you do. And I'm so happy that today, when I saw you, you're still making revenge, you're still, I mean, it's a grace. It's a grace. Not many people have this grace. And my prayer is that you still need God for us so that we your son will continue to have that advice. And I have to thank you for giving me a loyal deputy governor because you trained my deputy governor, Principal Abeokuta. He went with you in the farm for a long time and rise to the post of general manager. So a lot of people come to me and say, okay, so deputy governor, he's so serious, he doesn't give money anyhow. When you take something to me and you say, well, if I don't talk to my guy, I will not do anything on your side. If you call my deputy governor, I will say you should go and represent him somewhere to your boss. And if you know that you're not going to go to your boss, then resign. So I'm so happy that this inception of our administration, we are now 2 years and a few months. Osun State, I don't want to come to Osun State. Osun State is a beautiful state now, and it's a very peaceful state in Nigeria. Before Satan tried to spoil it, but God has restored balance in Osun State. So, we bring the balance side, we be so prudent, without going anybody, and all our 5-point agenda, we met it. Even Baba came over to commission some projects, and there's some projects that we will start commission. We don't want to let anything distract us. We want to make sure that people are dividends of democracy as Baba has told us. So what I request is that Baba will do better to you, but I'd like to ask you to be agbára Ọlọ́run ẹ̀fúwa. You'll be 90, you'll be 100, you'll be 120, and let's go for them. On that note, with this beautiful book, let's not forget, I will whisper to my Baba and tell him what I'm going to believe. I thank you for listening. God bless you.
When I went to see him, we actually, as always, we disagreed. I saw him very early, and then he said he should go. And I said, okay, let's enter the car. I said, no, I'm going to go. I said, Baba, don't talk about very sorrow. When you talk to us, we take all of the things you tell us. We obey you, we do everything. He just did like this to me. And I know that I lost it, we have to work. So we work all together from that place to the work. Baba, the general table will continue to strengthen you. Yes, everybody is here, we said about and celebrate the date. But I know, Baba is somebody that I want to see what to get. No pretension about it. Baba said, people is better, doesn't even know the exact day or the time. All he knew was that the job died for. So, I know that it's truly the job died for. And I'm happy that Baba's very, very close friend and classmate is here. And when you do the argument, you are talking there with Dr. Yola, that Baba certainly, people will say that Baba will be 90, will be this, I'm praying that Baba will be 100 because I know Baba is more than 90. And this one is for official something that we normally celebrate. Baba Oluwa is here to be 94 or 93. Baba is here 92. All of you, all of the spirit, all of the gas, there is no one that is not more than 92. So you know that what we are doing today, we are not doing all that yourself, Baba is here. Then we, Baba son know that Baba is 93 for something. Let me say this, Baba, welcome. There are so many things that we can appeal to Baba for. Baba, anywhere we talk about this and defend you, and everybody will agree with me that it is about this Nigeria. Baba is one person, and I'm happy that you see what happened. People come from everywhere. Even from days ago, we just particular. I think you can't quarantine Baba to just educate yourself. But that's in Nigeria. How Nigeria that? Baba will be warmly welcome in Jigawa, in everywhere he goes because that is his for him. And Baba is not just one Nigeria financial. Baba, well done. I can say this: Baba loves his community, he loves his country, he loves his continent, he loves the Commonwealth, the black race, and indeed the world. Baba, your people say Baba is troublesome in this last 10 years. That's the troublesome that you do. Wrong or silly or not sometimes. You know, you see them say, what tell your Baba? I don't know what tell you before. He just went there, he said, tell you. All of them, when you see it went, they were pushing that. Let's go. They went there. He had no other place. Who said it? Everybody kept saying, you are the people that say that you think it's Baba now. They can't come. So whenever they see me, it gives me some kind of people tell me that we are dealing with God. You that this is your ordinary days. How do you go? Thank you. That is our Baba. That is what we are made of. You will see Baba every day. Running around for global peace, particularly for African peace. But Baba, let me tell you one day, I got emotional. Maybe you will remember this. I've seen you several when we got for all this foreign national taxation. We were in South Africa. We are doing this day stuff. And somehow Baba doesn't get it. But this day, profoundly, I don't know what happened. He got it. And that day, I was in tears. Tears of joy. Because we were there, it is the music. We will say, maybe the president was 5 or was 3. We were told the president was 4. We were there, the president was and was. So they now called the house to order. Just when they were starting like this, the door just opened. Everybody was like, and it was wow. The leading union, all the presidents, everybody here, including the secretary general, everybody stood up. Baba was there for about 7 minutes. Everybody from one, everybody stood up. And I looked like this. President Buhari was there, General Salam was there. In fact, you will see, everybody saw it. Everybody stood. And he greeted everybody one after another. Then the man said, we have to start. Now we call the house. So welcome, Baba. So when you are talking about, I listen to the Professor Ilosa. If you need citation, you know, I am happy that you said that when you talk about colonization and everything, Nigeria is not the only country that is done this. No, Africa is not the only. India, everybody, is same thing happened to them. But somehow they managed to come against colonization. Those who that colonize us, of course, it pains them. They will not want to talk, they will not want to continue to do it for us, but it is us that will take that away from them, and you can't do it. Just look at all these even I don't want to use small, because they are small, they are bigger than us now. You go to Manchester, you go to Qatar, all of those. Can they do what they are doing to them? They cannot. They don't do example to this. I'm sorry, I don't want to get into any controversy, LGBT and all of this nonsense. Will you see them going to Qatar to preach that? No. Or to they will not, because they respect themselves. It is good governance and leadership. So I'm happy with what Baba is doing about leadership and about good governance. Until you get it right, if you talk from morning to night, everything will still continue to happen. We will be brainwashed. Our perception of everything has been far. When you see, even if you say, oh, I'm in Roman, something happened in the mosque. This boy is sitting in my place, we have the mosque. And my mom was saying, he saw, they said, our white friends, they have to talk because they are here. who are the white friends? I don't want people to say this openly. Some people came to pray, all this, everybody came to pray, you want to do Tarawih. I said, it's also a white friend doing ambition, you have to wait for them. You know the way we are, in our brain, in our mindset, in our everything, is there that they are superior to us, and they're not. So please, the point is in our court, good governance, good leadership, we will get there. So Baba, thank you for all your efforts. When you see Baba, please, that's the ambition. All those places where Baba goes, from getting us to that, when he goes in, please, so that Africans will see that at least we have one of our own that is respected everywhere. So all those associations that you are leading, just begin to play all of those. That's just the what I told you today. We were in Japan one day, Baba walked in, everybody stood up to greet him, to play with him. So begin to do those are the associations that we want to be seen, so that people will know that we have Africans, that are true Africans, that are respected worldwide. So congratulations. When you talk to us, you will be. As governor, when I tell myself, so when I get to Papa, say, don't take your lifetime again. You want to have this physical strength to work with me? And I said, okay, I have to do that. So each time I go, one day we just got there, I drove. Baba just came and said, the last thing beside me was one of my commissioners. Baba now called his CS to say to come. He just said to bring his hand, the next time you start with him, driving there, I will blow your head. So I laughed. So I forgot. The next day when we were about a week after, I want to go to Baba, I said, I'm not calling you. Baba, you don't know me. He said, you blow my head. So anytime I'm going to Baba, I will drive. When we get there, I said, Baba was not seeing me. Even this morning, I see you very. So anytime I take Baba, please slow down. You are this, you are that. So I'm thinking of Baba. The only thing we pray for you is that what you love doing, that thing that you love doing, going around creating peace, looking for peace everywhere in the world, we pray for you to continue to do it. Because I know Baba will do this till the breath is last. So we can't stop you. That's your wahala, that's your trouble. Continue to do it. I thank you because Baba is at peace with kings, with presidents, with queens, but there are more ease with his meaning. And that is what Baba tells us what to do. So Baba, of all the things they've given you, the one that I know you like most, and I, all of us know, is Ebola Wu. Congratulations. So for me, I'm buying thank you, Excellency. Please come. That's ever grateful to you. Ever grateful to you.
I want to hear. I'll have to respond. What to come and respond? Okay, what's the
Each chapter builds on the previous, forming a compelling narrative that urges readers to engage, to debate, and to act. But let's think about the premise of the book itself and the author's tone. From its very first pages, Nigeria Passing Future makes it clear that this is not an autobiography, nor is it a memoir of governance. President Obasanjo has already given us my watch, not my will. My command, amongst others, to chronicle his life and leadership. Instead, this book positions itself as a reflection, a rearview mirror, so to speak, held up not for nostalgia, but for critical assessments. The preface, fittingly titled "With the Benefit of Hindsight," sets the tone for what follows: a mix of reminiscence, regret, and relentless optimism. There's an almost confessional quality to the writing, a sense that President Obasanjo is speaking not just as a statesman, but as an elder reflecting on a life intertwined with Nigeria's fate. He does not shy away from acknowledging his own place in the narrative, stating candidly, "Now I'm getting close to my departure lounge, maybe without picking up my tickets." Some may say he has had his son. He has not been perfect. So why is he sounding so sanctimonious? This self-awareness tempers the book's more didactic moments, allowing the reader to engage with its argument without immediately dismissing them as the musings of a former leader seeking to absorb himself. Obasanjo's tone oscillates between frustration and hope. He is deeply critical of the choices made by successive governments and the complacency of our populace, writing, "Every Nigerian must be sad by the state of things today. What I have done here is call attention to these missed opportunities, mistakes, and underperformance, whether advertently or inadvertently." This lament runs through the book, but it is coupled, like I said, with an unwavering belief that Nigeria can still realize its full potential if it corrects course. This is not the voice of a cynic, but the voice of a man who, despite witnessing decades of misgovernment, still believes in the possibility of national redemption. A key feature, as we all know, of President Obasanjo's style of writing is his willingness to name names and confront uncomfortable truths. Unlike some political members that skirt around contentious issues, Nigeria past and future addresses head-on the mistakes of past administrations, including his own. His reflections on governance are unflinching, and he does not hesitate to critique individuals and institutions that have, in his view, failed Nigeria. Yet he is also careful to balance critique with acknowledgement of progress, citing moments when the country took significant strides forward despite overwhelming challenges. The book's tone is also notably pedagogical. There's an element of instruction in the way Obasanjo lays out his arguments, almost as though he's addressing a younger generation of leaders who might learn from the past. He frequently employs rhetoric to provoke reflection, asking the rhetorical questions: if we continue on this path, where will Nigeria be in the next 50 years? This didactic approach, while occasionally heavy-handed, reinforces the book's purpose as a call to action rather than mere historical accounts. We must also acknowledge another striking aspect of the book. Whether one agrees with his conclusions or not, the sincerity of his engagement with Nigeria's past and our future is undeniable. So how is this relevant to what are the bigger arguments in Nigeria past and future? In this book, the author does not merely diagnose the country's ailments. He attempts to chart a path forward. His vision for Nigeria's future is built on a foundation of reforms that he argues must be bold, inclusive, and sustained if the nation is to realize its full potential. A key pillar of his proposed vision is institutional reform. He argues that Nigeria's political and economic institutions must be restructured to function effectively, stating a nation's progress is not determined by the brilliance of its individuals, but by the strength of its institutions. Chapter 20, page 295. He calls for judicial independence, a depoliticized civil service, and a transparent electoral system that prioritizes competence over political patronage. President Obasanjo emphasizes the need for a new economic framework, one that moves Nigeria beyond its dependence on oil revenues and towards a diversified economy rooted in industrialization, agriculture, and technology. He acknowledges the efforts of countries like Malaysia and South Korea, which, despite having fewer natural resources, have managed to create thriving economies through strategic investments in manufacturing and human capital.
For tomorrow. You recall that I said Governor Oyinlola will come after Governor Amosu and the rest, but we will have to adjust a little bit because a member of the high table has a flight to catch, and he is somebody that is very, very dear to my heart because he owns a university. That's Senator Yusuf. That's Baba Ahmed, vice presidential candidate of the local party. a great educational investor, this university. I've been there a couple of times and I can see cracks, I can see quality. So he has a flag the card. May I ask you, sir, to please come and
of the occasion, sir, our dear President Olusegun Obasanjo, Your Excellencies, Your Highnesses, Your Majesties, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Please, let's set aside the fact that I'm one of Baba's boys. The truth is that every Nigerian academic, to every Nigerian academic, is a duty to take Baba for what he is. I mean, as a nation, how so amazing is it that our dear president retired into the academia? How unique have we been made? Baba, thank you for coming into our area. Baba's academic works are making some of us academics look rather lazy. We do respect to all of us, but he has taken upon himself a noble objective which must be followed, emulated, promoted by all of us in this. It has been said in due course that we must forgive, we must not forget. It is even more correct to say that we must continue to remember. What Baba is doing is telling us to continue to remember. And Baba shall continue to do it on this. I have been saying it again that if Baba did not and does not forgive, Nigeria would have been fighting itself. So again, Baba, may you be blessed for the kind of heart that Almighty God is giving you. Forgiveness is strength, and Baba has strength to forgive. I would like to say that we've been hearing accident of history. The occurrence of Baba, the history of Baba is what I humbly get to call the providence of history. Because his books motivate us to teach. His books, his writing, his activities beyond Nigeria, beyond Africa, continue to remain an inspiration to bring about the right changes. Baba, I am proud to be associated. I am proud to be a son. I am proud to own the books written by you, Baba. I won't say much more than this, otherwise I get consumed. But I will now take the privilege to buy the books as follows. 1 copy of each of the books for Base University at 10 million naira. And then 1 copy again for each of the books for Baba Ahmed University in Kano for 5 million naira. But thank you, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is a great honor to be here and share this great moment with you, and I thank you very much.
The papers during the presidency of the president and other documents, museum artifacts, and the rest. If you want to study as a researcher, you have to go to a hotel or a facility outside that library. Stay in Marriott or stay in Sheraton around the place. Let me take the Kennedy Library. You go, when I visited there, I had to go outside to the hotel and then come to the library. But here, okay, let me even take some other elements. If you want to, let me take it globally so I can be brief. Here in our presidential library, you have all the facilities you like, from cradle to when you are about to leave. We have here residence for anybody who wants to come and study the materials here. That we have the Green Legacy Resort. We have the amusement area for children. We have the wildlife park. We have all the elements that can make life comfortable for you as a child, as a youth, as an adult, and as a very old person. And as somebody said yesterday, the board of trustees meeting, that we have places for those who old person, you want to have a place that you can enjoy before coming to see the library. There is no place, no presidential library anywhere in the world where you have this kind of one-stop shop. So we got to appreciate Baba Obasanjo for all that he has done to put this facility in place. So I'm going to ask the general group to please come forward. After which,
all these ours, our rule is hard. The land was ours to own until we thrived on courage, strength, and will.
See how they smile when hands exchange. Our freedom law for foreign exchange.
And see our own, how quick they turn, selling their brothers just to earn. The white man ruled but not alone. Our own betrayed us for a throne.
Freedom at last. We claim our land. No master chain, no foreign hand.
But leaders fought, their greed took hold. Our joy was brief, the dreams grew cold.
We will end corruption, they boldly say, yet in their pocket, the bribe still stay.
They jailed the thieves, then took their place, and ruled with iron, none to face.
Obasanjo, a soldier boy, yet wise to know that guns and chains must lose their glow. He paved the way for folk to speak, for tyrant home to grow so weak.
He raised the flag, returned the voice, gave back to the people their own choice. Debt relief, economy strong, banking reform, he moved us on. A great president.
President Olusegun Obasanjo.
Baba, my own Baba, many happy returns of today, in good health and continuous God's blessings. I'm sure many will be wondering why I call him my own Baba. Some 64 years ago, precisely in the year 1961, unknown to me and unknown to Baba, our path crossed each other. When the vicissitude of life came calling, and I became an orphan at night, a senior brother who was working in Abeokuta here, the DA's office, decided to bring me down for me to continue my education. Registered me at the Imam Primary School. While in Imam Primary School, a detachment of the Nigerian troops returned on the Congo in the year 1961. They did a flag march from Lakenwa up to Imo, and I saw the march pass. And there and then, at the age of 10, I decided that if I ever grow up, that would be the job I would do. I got to know that our ways crossed each other. There was a day as governor of Osun State. I was riding in the same vehicle with Baba, and we passed through the front of the radio house, very close to Shakon. So I told Baba, I said, this is where I decided when I was 10 that I will, if I ever grow, I will go to the army. That the troops returned from the Congo, and that was when Baba said that was his battalion, and it was on that parade. Another encounter with Baba, how he became a Baba. 99, Baba ordered me to ground arms. In simple terms, that I am retired when I was not tired at all. Reason that I was one of those 93 that tasted the forbidden fruit. It pained me because this is the termination of a profession I decided to go for at the age of 10. Then came the year 2003. The same man that marched me out of the army marched me again before the entire royal fathers of Osun State and declared, this is my beloved son whom I want to be the governor of the state. And so it happened. Another incident that makes him my Baba, my river. During the celebration of my 70th birthday, which occurred some 4 years ago, in his Chile, after a lengthy statement that eulogized me to high heavens, he declared at the end of that Chile that he is proud to make me a member of his family. And named me as his own Arole. It is said that you don't know the importance of the voters until you are struck with a boy on both halves. What Governor Amosu experienced that made him become emotional happened to me too in China. I followed Baba on one long trip that took us to China, Vietnam, Egypt. I had to drop out when he said we are going to Indonesia. While in Egypt, I think it was the African Union meeting. Mubarak was still the president there. and Baba was the chairman of AU. At a stage, Baba excused himself and said, yes, we want to make use of the rest. So you, Mubarak, continue the meeting while I eat myself. As soon as Baba stepped out of the hall, Mubarak got up and said, look, I will advise you that you take a break too, so that I can continue when they talk. That was the day I felt so disturbed. And that saying comes to me that you never realize the importance of voters until you are struck with boys. Baba, we are deeply grateful for your service to humanity. I will continue to pray for you that the good Lord will continue to strengthen you, that you can do more for the rest of your life. Àwọn Yorùbá máa ń gbàdúrà wọ́n ní Ọlọ́run ní jẹ́ kí a fi àrà sínú kú. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àrà ló sì wà ní bàbá. Ọlọ́run ní jẹ́ kí kú pẹ̀lú àrà wọn. Kó gbogbo ẹ̀ fún akátó lọ. Thanks so much, God bless you.
The chairman of this occasion, the executive governor of Osun State, Baba Ademola Adeleke, I'm still in the mood of thanking you. Bàbá mi láìsí bí Ìbàdàn yìí ṣe sọ pé màá ń bàbá bàbá mi yàtọ̀ sí màá ń bàbá bàbá mi because everyone have been talking about executive governors, post-pass and present here, distinguished people, the former ambassador to Britain, because at some point I'm going to talk about Britain. And I'm really careful. Kábíyèsí, àwọn ọ̀dọ́ kábíyèsí alákẹ́ àti kábíyèsí ló ń ká kábíyèsí lẹ́yìn bàbá báyìí kí gbogbo kábíyèsí yòókù bá mi. My story is different and special, and that is why you are banned. Let me tell you, every other person call you Baba Ebola Fowu, some say Baba of Africa. I personally, Abibola Sade, call you Baba of the world. Bani, that is Bani. I tell you, the former ambassador of Britain is here. You will understand when I say I was an overstayer at the United Kingdom. And then Bani came into my life. He wrote letter to the then Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. It was Theresa May. Excuse me. When he wrote that letter, he was talking about me being an overstayer. And I know my document. My church started in the United Kingdom. Within 48 hours, never seen that before in my life. Theresa May replied. Not only did she reply, she said urgently, I still have the copy of the letter, that urgently, excuse me, that is the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, and you know that Bani Shanafa, and then that urgently they will look into the matter. Not only that I could get back to the United Kingdom anytime I feel like, that I could raise my head. But the people here listening to my voice, I want you to say a big, massive thank you to Bani. Mo bẹ̀rẹ̀ ní ìyẹn ẹjọ́. Mo rà of the world, and eventually I invited them to the United Kingdom. Bani came. To the United States of America, Bani came. To Tafawa Balewa Square, Bani was there. To Abuja, Bani was there. Mani Obasanjo ojú òní tì. Àmọ́ bọ́dọ̀ Obasanjo ìtẹ́jú tẹ̀ nǹkan tó bá ṣe lórí nǹkan kò fẹ́ dúpẹ́ fún. Ẹ máa kọ̀ntínú dúpẹ́, mo mọ iṣẹ́ tẹ̀ ń ṣe, mo mọ Bani gan. So mo mọ iṣẹ́ tẹ̀ ń ṣe. Bíbí ẹ̀kúṣẹ́ Bani, ọ̀dọ́ máa fi síbẹ̀ fọ̀rẹ́ báyìí lẹ́nu. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni kú láíláí, happy 87 or 90. ẹ jẹ́ ká má sọ̀rọ̀ sí ẹ̀ nǹkan sọ sí ẹ̀ka ẹ̀fọ́ yẹn a máa wà ní 100 a máa wà ní 110 nítorí tèmi ọlọ́run máa fi síbẹ̀ fún wa 120 a máa wà ní happy birthday sir mo dúpẹ́ thank you so much.
Abeokuta, the governor of Ogun State, on this special occasion celebrating an extraordinary statesman, the former president of Nigeria, and an illustrious son of Ogun State, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, GCFR, on his 88th birthday. His Excellency is unavoidably absent this morning, but will join the celebrations later in the day. Baba Obasanjo, who is also fondly referred to as Baba of Africa, is a towering figure in our national history. A man whose life has been defined by service, courage, and an unrelenting commitment to the progress of Nigeria and Africa. As a soldier, head of state, and democratically elected president, he has shaped the course of our nation's political and economic trajectory with remarkable vision and leadership. Even in retirement, he remains one of the most influential voices in Africa, lending his wisdom to matters of governance, diplomacy, and development. Beyond Nigeria, Baba is a true pan-Africanist. His work in promoting peace across the continent, his role in strengthening regional cooperation, and his deep engagement in global affairs demonstrate his belief that Africa must take charge of its own destiny. He has consistently advocated for African unity, economic self-reliance, and good governance, leaving a lasting impact on the continent. At 88, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo continues to be a leader of thought, a man whose words carry weight and whose actions inspire generations. His voice remains critical in shaping policies and discussions that define our future, and we are grateful for his continued contributions to nation building. On this occasion, as we celebrate his remarkable journey with a thought-provoking lecture by Professor Obasanjo, and the launch of 2 important books, one which he edited and one which he authored, they reflect his wealth of experience and speak to his concerns about where we are as a continent and his hopes for the future. We pray that Almighty God grants Baba long life, continued good health, and sound mind. I recall that at Baba's 85th, we played a novelty match, a novelty 5-a-side match. Baba was on the opposing team, and he ran rings around me. My feet barely touched the ball. And I had to play the gender card. Baba, I should swoop over you. He replied, we thank God for Baba's good care. In fact, not wanting Baba to show me up again, I had planned that if there was a novelty match for this year, I will use Ramadan as an excuse to get out. May Baba remain strong, active, and ever purposeful in guiding the next generation of leaders. Once again, happy birthday, sir. May your legacy continue to shine brightly across Nigeria, Africa, and indeed the world. Baba, a coordinator, sir. Ọlọ́run ajẹ́ kí àgbà ní kí o dògbò ẹ̀mí á ṣe ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ọdún ìgbà ọdún kan ní sọ.
Deputy. Okay.
at the junction.
Gagori now. If I move, I tell them not to what's for me?
Because past 4.5 hours or thereabout that we have been here, a lot has been said, a lot has been done. And all that remains is thank God Almighty. First, day possible as a day that He has made, and that we should rejoice and be glad in it. And we are here for occasion of pain, of having joy, and expressing our appreciation among us and our appreciation to God. And I thank God Almighty for that opportunity. Let me then start thanking those who have been directly responsible for the events of today, and we are only halfway through. And those who are indirectly responsible. Let me start with Professor Kepukola. We have the what do you call it? The authority for planning, arranging, and executing my birthday program. He's taking it upon himself for many years now, and we have never failed to do it well.
We thank God, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Your Excellency, of the world.
Then let me thank the lecturer, Professor Saki. I don't know those of you who are here who listen to the lecture. It is a first class lecture. And he delivered it lively. He did not look at any book, no script. Well, Professor Kepukola,
yes, sir.
what I will ask you to help us, help him, is that some of us will want to have copies of that beautiful lecture.
We already have it, sir.
If you have it,
yes, sir.
some of us will like it, get it to our hands.
Of course.
And the book on slavery, slave trade, colonialism, imperialism, neo-colonialism, and then Nigeria past and future. you see how the three come together. The lecturer made up to their life that part of our culture is what I may call the recipe of slavery, and colonialism. And until we can bring ourselves completely out of it and decolonialization, many ways have spread. And at one of the commentators on the lecture said, maybe we have to look at decolonization of our names. And that brings me to an issue. Who wants to continue to rename me Martin? Well, I have no problem with this evangelical mission of who Martin was as a disciple of Jesus Christ. But he was a tax collector. Now, we have Peter, who was a disciple. Even though he denied Jesus, forgive him, and he became the rock. We have John. Me, the name Martin. I don't trust it. And I said, so like my father, my mother, you know why they decided on Martin. They didn't name me Peter. They didn't name me John. They didn't name me Samuel. They didn't name me Moses. They didn't beautiful names. Not even Joseph. So, academia can give this master. I will give my origin Ikiola and Obasanjo. If you remember, he concluded a goodwill message by saying he wants to be 48 and he wants to reduce his wife to 52. I tell you that too. When I got in here from Nairobi, to become Minister of Agriculture of President Jonathan. Because he was the one who said to me, I want somebody who will agriculture well. I said, well, the one that I know, this is one. So when he came, President Jonathan changed his mind and decided that the Ministry of Agriculture had been sold to the North. So when I was told, and that he will become Minister of State, when I was told, I called him, I said, go back to the agriculture immediately. Because as Minister of State, you will not take anything. So we went back, Nairobi, where I came from. And two people that I know in
in the government at that time, or who are coming into government, went to President Jonathan and said, if you want agriculture to be taken care of, that money you must have on that. So President Jonathan called me again and said, look, can you help me get that money down? I said, I don't know. So I phoned him and he said, it's no longer in my hand. It's now in the hand of my wife. And I haven't met his wife before. So I said, is your wife black or white? Oh, he said, you don't know my wife. She's the daughter of your previous director of agriculture. I said, oh, we must be a black woman. He said, yes. He said, yes. Okay. Can I talk to you? And then I talked to them for about 30 minutes. Then he started saying, you know our problem, particularly those of us from that part of the country. Today they will say we are not normal, we are this and that. We are from Kogi. Eventually I persuaded them. So I said to Aki, now go from this year, come. And he came Minister of Agriculture. Then one day he came to me and said, please, presidency of the African Development Bank. I said, there's an agriculture bank. He said, but I did agriculture. I didn't know that you did agriculture. In that case, you are interested? He said, yeah. Okay, yeah. So we started. First thing was, he was nominated by President Abeokuta. And by the time the campaign started, President Buhari had taken. So we had to fight on board. And the long and short, he became so when he became president, he wanted to make Nigeria one that hey, you can't make Nigeria. Because if the night I told presidency, MSC did not agree, there will be nothing, and you will not be able to come to be Minister of Agriculture. And if you are not Minister of Agriculture, this position you are now, as the rightly said, will not be possible. Therefore, your contribution is 45. So you are asking 45. And here we see is here we see 45. So since that time, they have been begging me to increase from 45. And that's what he was trying. That he wants to be at 48 and reduce the MSC to the MSC 52, which
At 45.
And of course, you had Dr. Rahman as President and Chief Executive of African Bank. A very good bank, doing a very good job. There have been 3 chief executives of African Bank. The first person was in Nigeria. The second one was Angola. And the third one is in Nigeria. when African Bank was established through the Africa Development Bank, Egypt lobbied for the location in Cairo on the ground that he will never lobby for the chief executive. And then after the Nigerian left, Cairo, Egypt started lobbying for chief executive. And then the problem was about that. I said, no, this was not the time that we got the headquarters. So I and they refused for 5 years to give my who was elected as the chief executive of the bank. He gave me this. So for 5 years, he was running African Bank from the Hilton Hotel for 5 years. But one person who held it for family, loyalty, and very, very committed was Obama. And then when Ekram finished his term, he said, well, the only thing that he believed he should do is ensure that for Obama's loyalty, commitment, devotion, and everything, he should take over. The situation is bad, no doubt. Because I believe that in my lifetime, we will have Nigeria that will be all. I want to thank all those who have given me good and made comments. I appreciate you all, including who have to go up in touch with me. And now we go on to the second stage of this program, which is more eating, dancing, and making merry. May all of you who have reached the age of 80 reach 90, 100, and celebrate that 90 and 100. Those of you who have not reached 80, that you cannot be called up to genuine yet, you will, by the grace of God, reach 80. But let us bear in mind that as Nigerians, there's duty, obligation for us. And if we do it well, we will have an enviable Nigeria, an enviable Nigeria in our lifetime. Thank you. Now this is not a laughing matter, it's a serious matter. Olúbàrà, ẹ̀ka nínú òbí láti nígbà tó dànù, nígbà tó dànù lè All right. Now, Olùwọ́n ló gbé mi pa ọ́.
Bàbá jẹ owó ríran wọn.
Ẹ ṣe gan-an. Àyíká we now go on.
Ìwo ni tó ń lọ.
To reception, sir. Yes, sir.